Valentine's Day, or Day of All Lovers, is a widely known and beloved holiday around the world. But how did it appear and what exactly do we celebrate on February 14? Let's figure it out together. So, Valentine's Day is a holiday of Catholic origin, which is celebrated in many countries of the world. The roots of the holiday originate from pagan times, when in the middle of February in ancient Rome were held Lupercalia, one of the oldest festivals of purification and fertility. The holiday was dedicated to the god Luperc, better known as the Faun. The festival was held on February 15, at the foot of the Palatine Hill, where, according to legend, a she-wolf nursed Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome. The priests of Luperc sacrificed goats and dogs on a special altar, and then, dressed in goat skins on a naked body, ran around the city and whipped people with pieces of skins. Women willingly put their bodies under blows, and it was believed that the blow of the Luperc would grant them fertility and easy childbirth. In 496, Lupercalia were banned, and in contrast to pagan rites, the Church introduced the auspicious feast of Saint Valentine. Everything is fine, but who is this Valentine anyway? Under the name of Valentine, several early Christian holy martyrs are known. Practically nothing is known about their lives. It is impossible even to reliably establish whether they were really different persons, or we are talking about different legends about the same saint. One of them, Valentine of Interamna, was bishop of the city of Interamna, modern Terni in Italy, and according to legend he had the gift of healing. When the Roman aristocrat Creton's son fell ill, after unsuccessful appeals to doctors, the father called Bishop Valentine, who healed the young man with prayer and thereby converted him and his parents to Christianity. The fame of Valentine spread through the city, and his sermon converted many citizens to Christianity, including Avundine, the son of the mayor, who openly called himself a Christian in front of his father. Valentine was arrested after his refusal to sacrifice to the pagan gods. He was tortured and then beheaded. Valentine's body was transferred by his students to intern. In the 4th century, a basilica was built over his tomb, which has survived after a number of reconstructions to the present day. The relics of Saint Valentine are kept in its main altar. Another Valentine of Rome, who also lived in the 3rd century AD and was a priest, has a very similar biography. Presumably, the date of his birth is 176. The man had the gift of healing. He lived during the reign of the cruel Emperor Claudius II. At that time he was waging bloody wars, so he forbade men to marry, and he believed that women distracted soldiers from faithful service. However, despite the ban, Valentine continued to perform the wedding ceremonies in secret. Of course, the emperor himself soon heard about it. He ordered the priest to be seized and brought to him. Not only did the priest disobey the ruler's order, but he also refused to worship pagan gods. Before his death, Valentine healed the blind daughter of an imperial official, after which he believed in Christ. Claudius tortured them both and then executed them. Valentine of Rome was beheaded on February 14, 270. Yes, the two Valentines really have a lot in common, and they lived at about the same time, which makes the opinion that we are talking about the same person quite reasonable. Many centuries later, in the late Middle Ages, in France and England, the life of Saint Valentine gradually began to acquire various legends about his life and death. According to one version, Valentine was a noble Roman patrician, but at the same time he was a secret Christian, who converted his servants to the new faith as well. Once, he conducted a wedding ceremony for two of them. By denunciation or by coincidence, all three were detained by the guards. Valentine, as a person belonging to the upper class, could escape death, but not his servants. Then, wanting to encourage the doomed co-religionists, Valentine writes them letters in the form of red hearts, meaning Christian love. As you understand, it was from this legend that the custom of giving Valentines began. A blind girl was supposed to deliver messages to the newlyweds, but suddenly Valentine himself came to the dungeons, who persuaded the guards to release him servants in exchange for his life. Before his death, Valentine gave the last letter, consecrated by faith and kindness, to a blind girl, who then saw the light and became a beauty. The tradition of celebrating Valentine's Day as a day of all lovers has been entrenched under the influence of English and French literature since the end of the 14th century. The father of English poetry, Geoffrey Chaucer, in the poem The Bird Parliament, had the following lines dedicated to the romantic celebration of Valentine's Day. For it was on Valentine's Day, when every bird files there to choose a mate. The poem was written in honor of Richard II's engagement to Anna of Bohemia. The engagement itself took place on May 2nd, 1381. By the way, when they got married 8 months later, both were only 15 years old, which, however, is absolutely normal for that time. It is worth noting that before the advent of Chaucer's poetry, there was not a single literary work romantically presenting Valentine's Day. Valentine, the main symbol of the holiday of February 14, is a postcard, usually in the shape of heart, which is usually given to loved ones. The traditional colors are red or pink, symbolizing love and devotion. The oldest Valentine was found in one of the English libraries. It was written in 1477. In a love message, the girl asks the young man to prove his love and informs him that she will get a dowry from her mother for them at all costs. The creation of the first Valentine is also attributed to the Duke of Orleans in 1415. He was in prison and thus, perhaps, was struggling with boredom, writing love letters to his own wife. The greatest distribution of cards Valentines reached already in the 18th century. But let's go back to our days and see how this holiday is celebrated in the world. Great Britain is a country of traditions, and Valentine's Day is no exception. February 14th is not an official public holiday in the UK. Of course, postcards, flowers and chocolate are mandatory attributes of the celebration of Valentine's Day. However, the British have invented their own unique tradition. On this day, all lovers compose sublime poems, songs and sonnets as their offering to the patron saint of love, Valentine. Singing songs is always fun, and even more so one day we. And that's why the British and especially children sing their favorite romantic songs and ballads on the streets on February 14 and receive sweets, toys and truffles as a reward. But the staff of restaurants and hotels have to work especially hard on a festive evening and their weekend closes to it. If you plan to arrive off the shores of foggy Albion on this day, we recommend booking a hotel room or a table in a restaurant in advance. In Germany, the tradition of celebrating Valentine's Day appeared quite recently, in the second half of the 20th century. Presumably, the British and Americans contributed to this. In recent years, the holiday has gained real popularity in modern Germany. Thematic TV and radio broadcasts, large-scale promotional events, promotions of manufacturers of cosmetics, perfumes and jewelry are held. Despite the popularity of the holiday and the general preparatory fuss when buying gifts on February 14 in Germany, you are unlikely to see many couples walking and kissing in love. The Germans consider it very personal and romantic. Couples in love meet in a romantic atmosphere by candlelight, in a restaurant, a favorite secluded place, or at home. For couples, this is primarily an occasion to be together. On February 14, German couples choose to announce their engagement, plan a wedding, attend church together, or hang a symbolic log on the bridge as a sign of strong love. In France, the celebration of Valentine's Day is no different from anything special. They give lovers postcards, sweets and stuffed animals to their loved ones. The only difference is that it is extremely difficult to the French, especially Parisians, to find a place for a romantic date on February 14. Paris is called the romantic capital of the world, because many lovers strive to get there and make a marriage proposal at the Eiffel Tower. In Spain, February 14 began to be celebrated only in the middle of the 20th century, and then without much scope. The thing is that in different regions of the country, different saints are considered patrons of lovers. Spaniards congratulate their loved ones on May the 1st and April 23. A very good approach. Moreover, these days they give only symbolic bouquets. Scandinavian Sweden adopted the celebration on February 14 no more than half a century ago. In the end, Valentine's Day was celebrated only for the sake of strengthening the economy. On the other hand, in the harsh northern climate, it is simply necessary to create as many warm holidays as possible. And Valentine's Day, or Day of All Hearts, as the locals call the holiday, is a great reason to warm your soul. In the United States, Valentine's Day is an extremely popular holiday that was introduced in the 19th century by British settlers. Signs of the holiday can be seen everywhere. Markets and shopping centers are decorated with love symbols, scarlet hearts, cupids. Front doors of houses are decorated with red or pink garlands in the shape of a heart. School children often exchange valentines with their classmates as a sign of friendship. Children's valentines, handmade or purchased in a store, usually depict cartoon characters in hearts. Regardless of how it originated, Valentine's Day remains popular and profitable from a business point of view. Around the world, about 1 billion valentines are sent annually. And the population loves the holiday because it is a great occasion to say warm words to loved ones. And how do you feel about Valentine's Day? We will be happy to read your stories in the comments. And that's it for today. Until we meet again.